transfer switch ensures safe and effective power transfer between utility and generator sources. Correct wiring is essential for preventing hazards and ensuring proper operation. In a standard setup, the incoming utility power must connect to the line terminals of the transfer switch. The outgoing conductors, which feed the main electrical panel of the house, should be connected to the load terminals. When the transfer switch is in utility mode, power flows from the utility line through the switch to the main panel, powering the home circuits. Conversely, when the transfer switch is in generator mode, power flows from the generator through the switch to the main panel, powering the home circuits. The situation you described involves a reverse wiring configuration. The incoming utility service was erroneously connected to the load terminals, and the outgoing conductors to the main panel were incorrectly connected to the line terminals. This reverse configuration creates a significant risk of backfeeding. Backfeeding occurs when the generator, during operation, sends power back into the utility grid. This is extremely dangerous for several reasons. Firstly, it poses a severe electrocution hazard to utility workers who may be working on the assumption that the power lines are de-energized. The backed power can energize the lines unexpectedly, potentially causing fatal electric shock. Secondly, backfeeding can damage the generator itself. The generator is designed to supply power to a load, not to feed power back into the grid. The unexpected flow of power can overload the generator and cause it to malfunction or even fail. Thirdly, backfeeding can also damage the utility grid. The generator's power may not be synchronized with the utility's power, leading to voltage fluctuations and equipment damage. The fact that this error may not be immediately apparent makes it even more dangerous. A homeowner might not realize the mistake until the first power outage, when they attempt to switch to generator power. In this scenario, the generator will fail to power the home because the wiring is reversed. Instead of supplying power to the main panel, the generator will be attempting to send power back into the utility grid, which is likely dead at that point. Several factors could contribute to such a wiring error. Firstly, inexperience or lack of proper training can lead to mistakes, especially if the electrician is not thoroughly familiar with transfer switch wiring. Secondly, carelessness or negligence can also be a factor. A rushed or inattentive electrician might overlook the correct wiring diagram or misidentify the terminals. Thirdly, mislabeled or poorly designed transfer switches can also contribute to confusion. If the terminals are not clearly labeled or if the wiring diagram is ambiguous, it can be easy to make a mistake. To prevent such errors, several precautions should be taken. Firstly, always consult the manufacturer's instructions and wiring diagrams. Transfer switches from different manufacturers may have different wiring configurations, so it is crucial to follow the specific instructions for the model being installed. Secondly, double-check the wiring before energizing the system. After making the connections, carefully review the wiring diagram and verify that each wire is connected to the correct terminal. Thirdly, use a multimeter to test the continuity and voltage of the connections. This can help identify any wiring errors before they cause problems. Fourthly, consider using a qualified electrical inspector to review the installation. An independent inspection can provide an extra layer of safety and ensure that the wiring meets all applicable codes and standards. Addressing this particular situation requires immediate action. Firstly, the power to the transfer switch and the main panel must be turned off. This will prevent any accidental electrocution during the troubleshooting process. Secondly, carefully disconnect the wiring from the transfer switch. Label each wire to ensure that it can be reconnected to the correct terminal. Thirdly, consult the manufacturer's wiring diagram to identify the correct terminal locations. Fourthly, reconnect the wires to the correct terminals, ensuring that the incoming utility service is connected to the line terminals and the outgoing conductors to the main panel are connected to the load terminals. Fifthly, double-check the wiring and use a multimeter to verify the connections. Sixthly, turn the power back on and test the transfer switch to ensure that it is functioning properly. Finally, it is highly recommended to contact a qualified and experienced electrician to inspect the entire installation and verify that it meets all applicable codes and standards. This will provide peace of mind and ensure the safety of the home and its occupants. In addition to the immediate safety concerns, it is also important to address the potential liability issues. If the incorrect wiring causes damage or injury, the electrician and the homeowner could be held liable. Therefore, it is crucial to document all steps taken to correct the problem and to maintain records of all inspections and repairs. It is also important to review the homeowner's insurance policy to ensure that it provides adequate coverage for electrical damage or injury. Furthermore, consider consulting with an attorney to discuss any potential legal issues. Understanding the function of a transfer switch is fundamental to grasping the implications of incorrect wiring. A transfer switch serves as a critical component in backup power systems, enabling a seamless and safe transition between the utility power grid and an alternative power source, typically a generator. Its primary function is to isolate the generator from the utility grid, preventing backfeeding, a hazardous condition where the generator's power flows back into the utility lines. There are two main types of transfer switches: manual and automatic. A manual transfer switch requires the user to manually switch between the utility and generator power sources using a lever or switch. An automatic transfer switch, on the other hand, automatically detects a power outage and switches to generator power without any manual intervention. In either case, the transfer switch has three essential sets of terminals: the line terminals, the load terminals, and the generator terminals. The line terminals are where the incoming power from the utility grid is connected. The load terminals are where the outgoing power that feeds the home's electrical panel is connected. The generator terminals are where the power from the generator is connected. When the transfer switch is in the utility position, the line terminals are connected to the load terminals, allowing utility power to flow to the home. When the transfer switch is in the generator position, the generator terminals are connected to the load terminals, allowing generator power to flow to the home. A properly wired transfer switch ensures that the generator and utility power sources are never connected simultaneously, preventing backfeeding and other electrical hazards. Now let's delve deeper into the potential consequences of backfeeding. As previously mentioned, backfeeding poses significant safety risks to utility workers. When a generator backfeeds into the utility grid, it energizes the power lines, creating a potentially fatal hazard for utility workers who may be working on those lines, assuming they are de-energized. This can lead to severe electric shock, burns, or even death. Backfeeding can also damage the generator and the utility grid. The generator is designed to supply power to a load, not to feed power back into the grid. This unexpected flow of power can overload the generator, causing it to overheat, malfunction, or even fail. Similarly, backfeeding can disrupt the stability of the utility grid, leading to voltage fluctuations and equipment damage. These fluctuations can affect other customers connected to the grid and potentially damage their electrical appliances. Furthermore, backfeeding can violate electrical codes and regulations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, sets specific requirements for the installation and operation of transfer switches to prevent backfeeding and ensure electrical safety. Violating these codes can result in fines, penalties, and legal liabilities. To further clarify the wiring of a transfer switch, let's consider a few specific scenarios. Suppose a homeowner installs a manual transfer switch to connect a portable generator to their home's electrical system. The homeowner must first locate the main electrical panel and identify the main circuit breaker. This breaker controls the flow of power from the utility grid to the entire home. Next, the homeowner must install the transfer switch near the main panel. The transfer switch will have terminals for the utility power, the generator power, and the load, that is, the home's electrical panel. The homeowner should then turn off the main circuit breaker to de-energize the home's electrical system. This is a crucial safety precaution to prevent electric shock. After de-energizing the system, the homeowner can connect the wires from the utility power to the line terminals of the transfer switch. These wires typically come from the utility meter. The homeowner should then connect the wires from the generator to the generator terminals of the transfer switch. These wires will run to the generator's power outlet. Finally, the homeowner should connect the wires from the load, that is, the home's electrical panel, to the load terminals of the transfer switch. These wires will typically connect to a new circuit breaker in the main panel that is dedicated to the generator. Once all the connections are made, the homeowner can turn on the main circuit breaker and the generator. The transfer switch can then be used to switch between the utility power and the generator power as needed. Now, let's consider a scenario involving an automatic transfer switch. In this case, the transfer switch is permanently installed between the utility meter and the main electrical panel. The automatic transfer switch continuously monitors the utility power. If the utility power fails, the automatic transfer switch automatically starts the generator and switches the home's electrical system to generator power. When the utility power is restored, the automatic transfer switch automatically switches the home's electrical system back to utility power and shuts down the generator. The wiring of an automatic transfer switch is similar to that of a manual transfer switch, but the automatic transfer switch also requires control wires that connect it to the generator. These control wires allow the transfer switch to start and stop the generator automatically. It's also very important to address common misconceptions about transfer switches. One common misconception is that a transfer switch is only necessary for homes with generators. However, a transfer switch can also be used to connect other alternative power sources, such as solar panels or batteries, to a home's electrical system. Another misconception is that a transfer switch is easy to install. While some homeowners may be tempted to install a transfer switch themselves, it is important to remember that electrical work can be dangerous. It is always best to hire a qualified electrician to install a transfer switch to ensure that it is done safely and correctly. Furthermore, understanding the relevant electrical codes is essential for safe transfer switch installation. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for the installation and operation of transfer switches. These guidelines cover a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, grounding requirements, and overcurrent protection. Some of the key NEC sections related to transfer switches include Section 700.5, which covers emergency systems, Section 701.5, which covers legally required standby systems, and Section 702.5, which covers optional standby systems. These sections specify the requirements for transfer switches used in different types of backup power systems. Additionally, NEC Article 310 provides guidance on conductor sizing and ampacity. This is important for ensuring that the wires used to connect the transfer switch are properly sized to handle the expected load. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors based on their size and insulation type. To determine the correct conductor size, it is necessary to calculate the total load that the transfer switch will be carrying. This includes the load from the generator and the load from the utility power. The conductor must be sized to handle the larger of these two loads. It's also crucial to consider the voltage drop in the conductors. Voltage drop occurs when the voltage at the end of a conductor is lower than the voltage at the source. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or fail. NEC Section 210.19a provides guidance on voltage drop limitations for branch circuits. It recommends that the voltage drop should not exceed 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. To minimize voltage drop, it is important to use conductors that are large enough and to keep the conductor runs as short as possible. Moreover, grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety, and it is particularly important for transfer switches. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the circuit breaker and prevent electric shock. NEC Article 250 provides detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems. This article covers topics such as grounding electrode systems, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding. For transfer switches, it is important to ensure that the transfer switch enclosure is properly grounded. This can be accomplished by connecting a grounding electrode conductor to the transfer switch enclosure. It is also important to ensure that the equipment grounding conductors are properly connected to the transfer switch. These conductors provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source from any equipment connected to the transfer switch. In addition to the NEC, local electrical codes may also have specific requirements for transfer switches. It is important to consult with the local electrical inspector to ensure that the transfer switch installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, regular inspection and maintenance are essential for ensuring the continued safe and reliable operation of transfer switches. Transfer switches should be inspected periodically for signs of damage, wear, or corrosion. The connections should be checked to ensure that they're tight and secure. The transfer switch should also be tested to verify that it is functioning properly. This can be accomplished by simulating a power outage and observing the transfer switch's response. If any problems are detected, they should be corrected immediately. It is also important to keep the transfer switch clean and free of debris. Dust, dirt, and other contaminants can accumulate inside the transfer switch and cause it to overheat or malfunction. The transfer switch should be cleaned periodically with a vacuum cleaner or a soft brush. Regular maintenance can help to extend the life of the transfer switch and prevent costly repairs. In summary, understanding transfer switch wiring, potential hazards, and relevant electrical codes is crucial for ensuring electrical safety. Incorrect wiring can lead to dangerous backfeeding, which can pose a serious threat to utility workers, damage equipment, and violate electrical codes. By following proper wiring procedures, consulting with qualified electricians, and adhering to relevant codes, homeowners can ensure the safe and reliable operation of their backup power systems.